After winning the silver medal with Team France, what's next for Bilal Coulibaly? So tonight we're going to look at 3 areas of improvement and 3 over and unders. Next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again. I hope you guys had a blessed and safe weekend. I appreciate you guys making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. And tonight's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So, all right, everybody. As you guys know, Team France did lose in the final against Team USA, succumbing to Team USA, that is, and earning the silver medal. Bilal Coulibaly, yes, his very small sample size in the Olympics, but he did get valuable experience. So we're going to look at 3 areas of improvement this upcoming season and 3 over and unders, and we're going to keep it short and quick tonight. So let's get into it, everybody. All right, so again, Bilal Coulibaly did win the silver medal with Team France, where they lost to Team USA. Team USA, I know there's been, good team overall, definitely good basketball. Now, Team France did give them a run for the money, and obviously there's other question marks as far as playing time. Team USA, people looking at Jason Tatum, but looking at the realm of the Wizards and Bilal Coulibaly, didn't get a lot of playing time. Now, he did score 6 points in the final game, but sample size very, very small. And again, Team France is trying to win, so they're going to put seasoned veterans in there. And, I definitely think that, in next Olympics, you're probably going to see a more expanded role with Bilal Coulibaly because he, again, is going to have a lot more clout in the NBA. And, I think his game's going to advance a lot more by that point. So I think he will definitely be part of the next Team France team to really compete for that gold medal. But again, very small sample size, but not the playing time that we expected for him. But we still need to see some progression going to year 2. So what are 3 areas that I want to see improvement in with Bilal Coulibaly, aka Be Cool? All right, so number 1, guys, 3-point shooting. So looking at his stats from last year, he did shoot 34.6% from 3. Now, he did not shoot a lot of 3 points per game. Obviously, he had a struggles with 3-point shot. Not a lot of struggles. I mean, obviously, looking at, his release was, definitely want to see it get faster. And it did get faster as the season rolled on till he went out with that injury. But I'm looking at it, he definitely needs to become more of a threat from the perimeter. With the experience in the Olympics, very small sample size. Again, I hate to keep using that phrase, but he didn't get the playing time that we hoped. But I did see some evolution as far as him being less hesitant to take shots. So his 3-point shot is definitely one area that I want to see improvement in. Did shoot 34.6%. Not too bad. Definitely want to see him shoot 35% or above. Last year, league average was around 35%, around 35.5%. So you definitely want to see him shoot around 35%. And I think he will. Because 3-point shooting is actually one of my over and unders, so we're going to get into that. But 3-point shooting is an area that I think he will get better at, but he definitely needs to get better at because defensively, he's a dog. Defensively, he is very polished, with his ability to get blocks, get steals, be in people's face, the effort, the dog factor. He's a defender that I think that is definitely going to be an all defensive team guy. He's that good on defense. His instincts, the list goes on. Offensively are the areas, his offensive game is the part of his game that you want to see some progression going to year 2 because we know offensively he can attack the basket. He's very athletic. He can attack the basket. He's put a couple cats on posters. Looking at the Sixers, man, real quick. I forget the player it was, man, but you guys let me know down below what player was he dunked on with the Sixers because I forget, man. But look, Bilal is a very athletic guy who can show that he can attack the basket. But the 3-point shot is one of those parts of his game that you definitely want to see some improvement. Number 2, mid-range jumper. You definitely want to see him add a mid-range jumper. Like I said, he can attack the basket. But the 3-point shot and his mid-range, you definitely want to see him become more of a threat. Now, looking at the team next year, you got Kyle Kuzma, who's presumably going to start at the 3, a small forward position, and you have Jordan Poole. They're going to be your number 1 and number 2 options as far as scoring. But both of them know that for the young guys to develop and become expanded, have expanded roles in his offense, they got to find ways to get other people involved. And I think that Jordan Poole, his vision as a passer, a starting point guard, He's going to set people up. I'm telling you, and I know the episode ain't on Jordan Poole, but matter of fact, the next one is. But Jordan Poole's going to have a good year, and I think that he's going to find ways to get other people around him involved and help them get better. Same thing with Kyle Kuzma, and Bilal is one of those guys. Bilal is the guy, one of the guys that this team's going to build around him and Alex Sarr. I get it, people are low on Alex Sarr, but some of the games are not big enough of a sample size for you to really judge him of what his future role is in the organization right now. So I think that Bilal and Alex Sarr, obviously is subject to change. The draft coming up, Cooper Flag, 2026, good talent, but they are definitely a good foundation for the Wizards to build upon. So him adding a 3 or being more of a threat from 3-point range and developing a mid-range jumper, I think are both keys to him becoming a better offensive player next year and having an expanded role. All right, number 3, ball handling. Now, obviously, he had a high dribble. He knew that going in to the Olympics that he needed to show some progression as a ball handler. They had him when he went out with injury. They had him working with his left hand, so I think he will be better with his ball handling. For him to add to his capabilities as an offensive threat, ball handling needs to be one of those areas that he shows improvement, in my opinion. Because with his ability to attack the basket, with his ability to get to the charity stripe, when he adds that 3-point shot, when he adds that mid-range, when he adds that third factor, I think, which is, again, ball handling, he's going to become more of an offensive threat, which really benefits the Wizards and benefits him because he's going to be that all-around player, that 3-and-D that I think he's going to develop into. The defense is already there. The offense is what we need him to work on and get better at. And like I said, 3-point shooting, he did shoot 34.6. So wasn't a terrible campaign statistical-wise. It really comes down to mechanics. Getting the shot off sooner, I think, will behoove him and it really will help him with his offensive game. Same thing with the mid-range. Him adding a mid-range jumper, I think, is definitely going to help him become more of a threat. It's going to take a lot of pressure off of Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma, and it's just going to add another threat. If you look at, Denny's gone. Denny was looked at as that third or maybe fourth option, and they don't have that anymore. Now that, Bilal has an expanded role. The keys haven't officially been handed to him as being the young prospect that they're building around. Same thing with Alex Sarr. They're going to add more talent in the next couple drafts. So again, him and Alex Sarr are that foundation to build upon as far as where this team is headed in the future, because most of these vets are not part of the future. Now, Jordan Poole, I'm going to convince you guys next episode that he very well could be. But looking at Bilal Coulibaly, as far as, he's definitely part of the future. He is definitely part of the future of basketball in the nation's capital. So those are 3 areas that I think I definitely know. I want to see improvement from Bilal Coulibaly. Definitely want to see him become more of a consistent threat from 3-point range. I want to see him develop that mid-range jumper and become more of a threat offensively. And work on his ball handling. Definitely want to see him become more of a player that can get other people involved. More of a complete player. Because when he fine-tunes his offensive skill set, when you combine that with his defensive prowess, he's going to be a 3-and-D and 2-way threat in the NBA. And I still hold on to the belief that he's going to be a star. I still believe in him and Alex Sarr being that 1-2 punch for the Wizards to not only build upon in the next couple drafts, but they're going to be starters for the Wizards going forward, man, at some point, if not right away. Obviously, both of them are subject to start this year. But, look, the future, you're looking at Alex Sarr and you're looking at Bilal Coulibaly. So, again, I think his 3-point shot, his mid-range capabilities, and his ball handling will be areas where you improve. Obviously, he's going to put a lot of work into it in training camp, working with Brian Keefe and company. So I'm very, very enthusiastic to see how much of a step Bilal takes this year for the Washington Wizards. So we're going to look at some over and unders for this upcoming season, and then we're going to call it a night. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. So passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and a lot more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. And that is not a lie. Over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with the eBay Guarantee Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guarantee fit. Only available to U.S. customers. Thank you for making the Locked On Wizards your first listen of the day. For your second listen, enjoy the Locked On NBA podcast. There's no offseason in NBA, let me tell y'all. And Locked On NBA provides daily basketball analysis from national and local experts in 30 minutes or less. No one keeps you as informed and entertained as Locked On NBA. Available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. All right, everybody, we're going to get into over and unders, and then we're going to look at the itinerary for the rest of the week. Again, I will be dropping a video on Wednesday and Thursday. We're not going to do a Friday night video this week, but we will have videos dropping Wednesday and Thursday. So I'm going to give you guys an itinerary for the rest of the week. But before we do, let's get into some over and unders. So over and under number 1. Points. Over and under that Bilal Coulibaly scores 8.5 points this season. And I'm going to say over. I'm going to say it's definitely over. This previous season, again, he averaged 8.4 points a game. His role, him being injured, I think it affected that, especially in the second half of the season. He was really trying to find his feet in the league in the first half. A lot of struggles, not only with other players like Jordan Poole, but I think the team overall struggled to find their identity under Wes Unseld Jr. Second half of the season, you saw a lot of evolution with this roster as far as their capabilities under, at the time, interim head coach Brian Keefe. And now that he's the head coach now, definitely looking at big things this season coming up. Not so much from a win-loss perspective, but from the lens of the evolution and progression of young talent. So looking at Bilal, he averaged 8.4 points this previous season. I think he averages around 10. I think that you're going to see some progression. Now, is he going to officially break out offensively? I don't believe so. I think you're probably a year away from seeing that. But I think he's definitely going to be you're going to see some progression. So I'm going to go over 8.5 points this season. I think that Bilal is going to average around 10 to 12 points a game. Rebound numbers. So over and under, does Bilal average over and under 4.5 rebounds? And this previous season, he did average 4.1. I'm going to say over. Again, I think that you're going to look at rebound numbers probably around 5.5, hopefully maybe 6. I think he's going to be a lot more active because I think he's going to be a lot more comfortable. I think that, the sample size, him not getting a lot of playing time in the Olympics is a concern to a certain degree. I'm not going to say so because they're trying to win. And he's going to his second season. He doesn't have that clout. He doesn't have that resume, that experience yet to be part of the starting 5 as far as in the Olympics because you're trying to compete for a medal. So I see, I don't agree. I'm not going to say I don't agree, but I understand why he didn't get much playing time because I get it. They're in it to win it. So, but I think he's definitely going to come in with a lot more confidence. And I think that his rebound numbers, I'm going over. I'm definitely going over 4.5. I think that he's going to average around 5 to 6 rebounds a game. All right, finally, everybody, let's see, the last over and under 3-point percentage. So this previous season, he shot, again, 34.6%. So over and under 34.6% 3-point percentage. And I'm going to say over. I think he's going to I think his bottom line is 35%. I think I definitely want to see him shoot around 35 to 36% from 3-point range. I think, again, he's going to have a lot more confidence, and he's going to have a lot more confidence with his 3-point shot. So I think you definitely take the over on that. I think you're definitely going to look at around 35 to 36%. He's definitely going to be a lot better from 3-point range. Now, is he going to be where we want him to be? Not yet. I don't think you officially see a breakout campaign, but he's going to get better. You're going to see some progression. He's not going to full out breakout. You're not going to see a finished product with him offensively yet, but you're going to see progression. I think that starts with a 3-point shot because it adds another tool to his offensive tool bag. And look, the Wizards, we know who the number 1 and number 2 option is going to be: Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma. But the biggest thing is, you lose a player like Denny Avdia, which was definitely, when you hate him or love him, he was definitely a threat. Especially this year where he finally broke out offensively. We need to find more threats with this roster going forward. Alex Sarr, people are down on him, but even though I think that, he's going to get better as the season goes on. And he kind of like Bilal Coulibaly, he's not going to be a finished product. Not this year, not next year, probably not in year 3. It's going to take a couple of years for both of these guys who are only a year apart on the timeline as far as individually, for them to officially offensively be finished products. It's going to take time. And even then, neither one of these guys are closer to prime. So it's going to be a hot minute before you see finished products as far as who they're going to be offensively. Both of them defensively, you're going to see them beat those guys out of the gate. Alex Sarr and Bilal Coulibaly, they're both going to be very good defenders out of the gate this season. So defense is going to be the one part of both of the game that you're going to see them prosper right away. The offensive game for both of them is a work in progress, but I think they'll get there because I think that, again, Brian Keefe and company, their MO, their resume, the name of the game for them, and for him, looking directly at Brian Keefe, who I was a big catalyst and a big supporter of him becoming a head coach because his resume speaks for itself, and he's going to do what he needs to do to develop this young talent because he's one of the best, if not the best, young coaches in the league when it comes to development. He's had a hand in so many future Hall of Famers developing. Russell Westbrook, future Hall of Famer. Kevin Durant. I almost said Garnett. Lord, Kevin Durant, future Hall of Famer. And James Harden, hate him or love him. He's definitely a guy who's going to be in the he's going to be in the discussion. So you look at Brandon Ingram, the list goes on. Kristaps Porzingis, he knows what he's doing as far as developing young talent and develop them to perform at the highest level, which is all-star level talent, if not Hall of Fame talent. So I think they're going to be all right in the long run. But again, to kind of reiterate for you guys, over and under 8.5 points for Bilal. I'm going over. I think he's going to score around 10 to 12. The second one was over and under. Let me look at the rebounds again. Over and under 4.5 rebounds. I'm going to say over. I think he averages around 5 to 6 rebounds next year. And over and under, he shoots 34.6% from three. I'm definitely saying the over. So, look, it's easy with me. All three categories, I think he goes over. I think you're going to see massive progression from Bilal. And while you're not going to officially get a breakout campaign, you're going to see a lot more polished young player in Bilal Coulibaly, a.k.a. Be Cool, which, by the way, he loves that nickname, man. So definitely shout out to my guy, New Breaks New, who came up with the nickname for Be Cool, man, because he's definitely rocking with it. And I think that is definitely his nickname going forward. I mean, he's gained a lot of notoriety. So, again, shout out to New Breaks New, who formerly he was the guy who came up with the nickname. So, all right, everybody, we're going to get into the itinerary, what I'm going to talk about Wednesday and Thursday night. But before we do, I'm going to talk to you guys real quick about Locked On NBA. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen today. Now go check out Locked On NBA podcast, where the season never ends, providing national expertise with a local perspective. You can find the link to Locked On NBA in the description down below, so you don't need to search for it. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. All right, everybody. Like I said, I put out a question on YouTube for you listeners on the podcast side. I put a question out to listeners and viewers. What did you guys want me to cover? Because right now it is a quiet time in the NBA. It's that time between the free agency period and draft to training camp. So that's why obviously we went down to 3 videos a week, and we're gonna go back to videos every day of the week, September 16th. So it's not gonna be slow down too much, but obviously around September 16th, we're going to be ramping up for the regular season. Obviously, training camp, preseason, then the regular season. So appreciate you guys rock with your boy, man, through the good times and the bad. But what are we going to talk about this week? On Wednesday, I'm talking about Jordan Poole. I'm going to convince you guys that Jordan Poole should be considered part of the young core going forward, because I think that if you look at the fact that he's got experience, he's shown that he can handle the wins and the losses as far as mentally. And he hasn't even hit his prime yet. And he will be doing so right around the time we re-sign Bilal and Alex Sarr and other young prospects that we have. So I think, Wednesday night, I'm going to talk to you guys about JP13. While I think that he very well could be part of the future going forward in DC and not just looked at as a trade chip. And then Thursday, we're going to look at Kyle Kuzma a little bit. So you guys, what is his expected role? Where's his place in his offense? And what is his place in his team long term? So like I said, we're going to talk about JP13 and my guy, Kyle Kuzma, this week. So, again, appreciate you guys, man. You guys down below, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with the 3 areas of improvement? I think most of us will when it comes to Bilal Coulibaly. And are you over and under, what was the, my bad, points, rebounds, and 3-point shooting? So you guys definitely let me know where you at in the comments section. So, again, appreciate you guys. I will see you guys Wednesday night. Hail to the Wizards and peace. See you guys next time.